Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to News Dose, and buckle up kiddos, because the beginning of March is just crazy for Xbox Game Pass subscribers. Not only are you getting a major day one release today, but they've already announced yet another game that's coming in just a few more days. Wow, what a way to start off March. No, actually, what a way to start off 2023, because they've had a lot of these really high quality day one releases pretty much since the beginning of the year. Game Pass, however, isn't the only winner here, though, because Nintendo, they've also had some really interesting things as well, and frankly, they've had a really good year, too. Truthfully, all things considered, us gamers, we're the real winners here, though our backlogs, unfortunately, they're the real losers here. On that note, though, let's just go and jump right into the video, starting off with Capcom. Capcom actually just announced a new showcase, being Capcom Spotlight, that'll take place on March 9th. This will be a 26-minute long showcase where they're set to give new information for several of their already announced games, including Exoprimal, which, I mean, I definitely think they need to show more of that game, because I don't think it's really won a lot of people over as of yet. I don't know about that one, but you also have Monster Hunter Rise, Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection, Ghost Trick Phantom Detective, and last but not least, Resident Evil 4 Remake will make another appearance here. Now, I do imagine that Resident Evil 4 and Monster Hunter Rise will probably take up a decent chunk of the event just because of how huge these games are. I mean, Resident Evil 4, this game is arguably the most popular Resident Evil entry among fans. So there's high expectations when it comes to the remake, and of course, it's set to release later this month on March 24th. Capcom might want to go ahead and build up some further hype for its release. Maybe that demo that they previously teased at the PlayStation State of Play, maybe they'll go ahead and launch that alongside this showcase. Then as for Monster Hunter Rise, this game just released on Xbox and PlayStation 2 months back, and we do know that its Sunbreak expansion is supposed to release sometime this spring. So I think with that in mind, there's a good chance that we'll hear about that at the Capcom Spotlight as well. If any of these games interest you, though, you might want to go ahead and tune in on, again, March 9th. Now, we also got an update for Atlas Fallen. Yeah, this game caught some attention last year when it was first announced, as it appears to have some just over-the-top crazy visuals. This is a next-generation only game releasing for the Xbox Series, the PlayStation 5, and PC, but there's still just so very little actually known about this specific game. We've really only seen mostly cinematics, and then a brief, and I mean a very, very brief snippet of its gameplay. Well, the good news here is that it looks like that will change sometime here soon, as Focus Entertainment posted this up on Twitter. Take on a heroic journey in a breathtaking world covered by sand. Explore ancient ruins and unearth the mysteries of the land of Atlas. Atlas Fallen releases May 16th on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. A gameplay reveal trailer will be coming soon. Stay tuned for new game footage. So, I mean, at the very least, we do have a release date now, which is actually fairly soon, being May 16th. That is a little bit of a surprise here, though I have to say, I don't really like this release date for a brand new IP. Like, I get it and everything, it's not on Nintendo, but still, a lot of people will be playing Zelda Tears of the Kingdom right around this same time frame, as that releases just 4 days prior on May 12th. So, I don't know. I just feel like for a new IP, you'd maybe want to stay away from what ultimately could be, you know, the biggest release for the entire year. But hey, one way or the other, it does appear we will get a trailer for Atlas Fallen sometime here soon, and hopefully it'll continue to look as good as its initial trailer made it out to be. Oh, and you know what? It's been a good year for shadow launches. Not only did we get Metroid Prime Remastered last month, go play that game, everybody, it's absolutely spectacular, but before that, we also got Hi-Fi Rush, which dropped alongside the Xbox Developer Direct. Fans seem to absolutely adore this game. It reviewed well critically. It's actually one of the highest rated completely new games this year thus far, with an 87 overall score on Metacritic, and now it's also got some proven success to pair along with all of that. Bethesda just officially announced that Hi-Fi Rush has already eclipsed 2 million players worldwide, which I'd say that's pretty good for a new IP that just kind of came out of nowhere. I think that just speaks volumes to its quality, because this game has mostly moved off of word of mouth rather than a big market push. In fact, to this day, if you go over and look on Steam, Hi-Fi Rush still has overwhelmingly positive reviews from fans, with 98% of everybody recommending it. So, I mean, its quality is unquestioned here. Nonetheless, Hi-Fi Rush is, of course, a game that launched directly into Game Pass, so a lot of players came from there. But as we talked about last month, Hi-Fi Rush was also topping the charts on Steam there for quite a while, which kind of tells you it's moved a decent amount of copies on Steam as well. I will say this much, though. For as good as this game is, from its gameplay to its story to its beautiful, just beautiful art style, I feel like this game deserves so much more than just 2 million players. I mean, yeah, that's good and everything, but still, if you haven't already checked this game out, definitely go do so, especially if you're a Game Pass subscriber. You might be surprised by how good this game truly is. Now, speaking of Xbox Game Pass, though, this service is really on fire right now. Now, I'll get more into that in just a second, but I feel like it's been a different year for Game Pass, as they're seemingly cutting back on some of the quantity. But at the same time, they've also really stepped up in terms of just sheer quality. And that's certainly being showcased to start the month of March. So right now, as of this video, a massive game just launched directly into Game Pass, being Wo Long Fallen Dynasty. Now, we talked about this game yesterday, so I won't get too much into it, but reviews are painting it as another excellent Team Ninja game inspired by the likes of Sekiro. It does currently sit at an 81 overall score on Metacritic, with most of its criticism seemingly geared towards its story and characters. Again, I don't really know many people that play these type of games for their story, but hey, whatever. The combat sounds amazing, so if you're a Game Pass subscriber, check Wo Long out today as it just launched. And here's the thing. Yet another major day one release was just leaked on the Microsoft Store, being Guilty Gear Strive. Yeah, it will be making its Xbox debut on March 7th, including a day one Game Pass launch. You just gotta love it. So there it is, and if you don't know what this game is, this is one of the best fighting games that you can currently play. Guilty Gear Strive has actually been available on PlayStation and PC for quite a while now. It's a highly praised game with an 87 overall score on Metacritic, and that's actually a little bit of a trend for Game Pass this year. Seems like a pretty good portion of the highest rated games for 2023 are actually available in Game Pass. But anyways, I mean, you can see from Guilty Gear's gameplay just how beautiful the animations are in this particular game, and it feels just as good. I mean, if you've played Dragon Ball FighterZ, which is another game from Arc Systems, it does come from the same studio, they just know how to make good fighting games while also making them look good. So, I mean, if you like fighting games, then absolutely do check out Guilty Gear Strive when it releases into Game Pass on March 7th. If anything, it's just really nice to finally see this franchise make its way over to Xbox. Like I said, though, this has really just been an excellent start to the year for Xbox Game Pass. I mean, we just talked about 3 day one games back to back, being Hi-Fi Rush, Wo Long Fallen Dynasty, and now Guilty Gear Strive. But even looking beyond that, I'm just going to go down a small list of some of the games that's released in the Game Pass this year, which includes Persona 3, Persona 4, Monster Hunter Rise, Hi-Fi Rush, GoldenEye 007, Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition, Atomic Heart, Soul Hackers 2, Wo Long Fallen Dynasty, and then again, Guilty Gear Strive. I mean, talk about a stellar lineup of games to start 2023 with. And I mean, that's a saying because we still have more big games coming in the next few months, including Minecraft Legends, you have Redfall, and maybe, hopefully, we'll see about this one, Starfield. Hopefully that will come soon. But nonetheless, it's just sometimes very hard to keep up with all these games. In fact, let's just go and talk about Nintendo, because they've also had a really good year as well. They just got Octopath Traveler 2 last week, which plays great on the Switch. I have been playing this one recently. I think it's much better than the first game. But of course, there's also Metroid Prime Remastered, an all-time great, even better now. And then they also had Fire Emblem Engage to start the year. But hang on, they also dropped some new additions to their Nintendo Switch Online service, the much-anticipated inclusion of Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games. So just another absolute overload of games to start 2023 with. But here's the thing, that lineup is already about to get even better, because they just announced that Metroid Fusion, yes, Metroid Fusion, the old Game Boy Advance classic, is making its way to the service on March 9th. Metroid fans are eating good right now, I'll tell you that much. But, I mean, honestly, the Switch is just kind of becoming the go-to place for Metroid fans. Nonetheless, though, I will say that I think Metroid Fusion is one of the more overlooked and unique entries for the mainline series. And I'm thrilled that more people are about ready to have the chance to go back and see just how good and unique this game truly is. In a lot of ways, it's your classic 2D Metroid game with those Metroidvania aspects that you've come to know and love, but it's also a little bit more linear than some of the other entries due to how its story unfolds. So you're kind of told where to go, but there's a twist here. It's also got this horror element to it because you're also being hunted down by this alien threat that's able to mimic the power of Samus. Now, I'm not going to go into great detail just for spoiler-related reasons, but you do feel more vulnerable in this game than past entries. I'll kind of say that much. Now, don't get me wrong, this game still isn't a horror game per se. It's not scary by any stretch of the means. Don't worry about anything like that. But it's a nice twist from previous Metroid games. In fact, some of the elements that you see in Metroid Fusion, they actually make their way over to Metroid Dread. So if you like that game, there's a pretty good chance that you're also going to like Metroid Fusion, which, as you can see, has aged incredibly well, as has most Game Boy Advance games. So do keep an eye out for its release, which is set for March 9th. Now, however, that's not quite everything here, because on the exact same day, the next wave of DLC for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, being Wave 4, is set to release, which might actually be the most interesting yet. Now, the reason I say that is because not only are you getting tracks from past games, but they're also adding a completely new character and an original track as well. That's actually a nice little surprise here, but let's go ahead and go over everything that this wave will bring. So this includes Amsterdam Drift from Mario Kart Tour, you have Riverside Park from the Game Boy Advance, DK Summit from Wii, Bangkok Rush from Tour, Mario Kart Circuit from the DS, Waluigi Stadium from the GameCube, and then Singapore Speedway from Mario Kart Tour. Then, as a nice surprise here, Yoshi's Island. This will be a completely new original track inspired by Super Mario World 2, and this will also come included with a new character that fits that track, being none other than Birdo. So yeah, it's nice to see they're doing a little bit extra for this specific wave. Of course, they still have more tracks to come throughout 2023, but if we've learned anything here, original content can't be ruled out, and why not? I mean, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is still selling incredibly well. I mean, this game has gone on to sell, like, what, around 50 million units, which is absolutely crazy. But, you know, with all of that in mind, it does make me kind of wonder on where Nintendo goes next with the Mario Kart franchise. It kind of reminds me of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate a little bit in the context that there's just so much content here. So how exactly does Nintendo top that? I mean, they're going to have to really make some great games in the future. But either way, Wave 4 will be out on March 9th. Let's go take a look at the poll of the day, though, and just to kind of fit the theme of this video, I went ahead and asked you all, if you're an Xbox Game Pass subscriber, are you satisfied with the service's start to 2023? As you can see here, yes, the wide majority of you all absolutely are satisfied, with 65% of you saying yes, 9% of you said no, 13% feels indifferent, could be better, and then 13% of you all just simply aren't a subscriber. So there you have it. Most of you all are satisfied with the lineup that they've put out this year so far. I mean, and just kind of looking through the comments, it seems like you all echoed a lot of the things that I said earlier. It really just has been a great year of high-quality games. Starboy Viper here says, Hi-Fi Rush and Wo Long Fallen Dynasty are so much fun. Absolutely loving these. You look right below that with Pool Handle, and they say Atomic Heart and Hi-Fi Rush justify it. Atomic Heart in particular is incredible, and I'm glad it's here, as I wouldn't have experienced it had I needed to pay for it. And it just seems like most of these comments echo that sentiment. And this is even mentioning other games like I talked about earlier with Persona. You have Monster Hunter Rise, and you have Age of Empires 2. It's just been a really, really good year in terms of quality day one titles. So the fact that you can get all of this for $120 a year or $180, depending if you want to get Game Pass Ultimate, I mean, just to start off the year alone, I feel like it's already paid off that subscription for a lot of people out there. Anyways, though, that's it for this episode. But if you like the video, don't forget the bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you'd like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.